Hi, this is Brien Lundin, and you're watching Market 1 Minute. I'm here with Greg Johnson, President and CEO of Wellgreen Platinum. Greg, Wellgreen Platinum is a company and a deposit that I've followed for a number of years in Gold Newsletter. And the challenge has always been with this deposit is that it's just so large. It is so large it's a strategic deposit globally for PGMs and multi-metals, nickel, gold as well. You're taking a different tack now with this deposit and trying to, I guess, right-size it for the market and for a company of your size. Can you explain a bit about what you're doing in that regard?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This deposit was discovered in the 1970s as a small high-grade occurrence, but as often happens in the mining industry, it was recognized this was part of a much bigger system.
Right.
And over the last couple of years, as you said, this thing has grown into a giant. It's now over 1 billion tons of material, so it's similar to the large porphyry scale deposits, but it's PGMs, nickel and copper. Our approach has been to look at a phased approach, look at something that's less capital intensive, that's a better fit for our company, get this thing into production, and then ultimately allow it to grow into a world-class potential producer.
Now, you've always been able to get good support from your shareholders. In fact, you were one of the few companies to be able to raise a significant amount of money in 2012. How are you putting that money to work in 2015?
It has been
2014.
Yeah, and it has been a challenging market. There weren't a lot of companies that were able to raise capital, but we attracted over $20 million of investment in 2014. We ended the year with about $11 million, so we've got a really strong balance sheet going into the year. And we're putting that money into the ground in our drilling, our engineering studies, our metallurgical test work to really prove up the project and demonstrate its ultimate potential.
I think shareholders are very excited about the upcoming revised, updated preliminary economic assessment and what that will do for the company and how those numbers will come about. Are you genuinely excited about getting that news to the public?
Yeah, no, the whole team is really excited. This is going to be the culmination of 2 years of hard work by the team, almost 50,000 meters of new drilling, intensive metallurgical and other engineering test work. So this is going to be really a whole new vision for the project. We're looking at it, as mentioned earlier, with a smaller scale, so the capital is going to be less intensive. And we think this is going to be a project that is really going to get some attention.
Now, you say smaller scale. The new PEA was preceded by a resource update that really focused a lot more on the higher grade resource.
Correct. It's open pit. All the material we're looking at in the deposit today is amenable to open pit mining, but it's a significant resource. Over 1 billion tons of material grading about 1.4 to 1.5 grams in the global resource, pit constraint. But within that, there's about 250 million tons of material that's ranging closer to 2.4 to 2.5 grams. And in open pit, those are exceptional grades.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. And still, there's upside to the deposit.
The deposit amazingly remains open to depth and open along trend. It's 2 kilometers of an 18-kilometer long system. So the blue sky here, as an exploration geologist, is quite exciting.
I mentioned that it's so large, it's a strategic deposit. Any large mining company, any country that's looking to have a source of very strategic metals has to consider Wellgreen Platinum. It's really that large. I find it interesting that outside of South Africa and Russia, which are not the most stable sources of supply for PGMs, this will be one of the primary sources of platinum group metals in the world, and it's in a great regime, a great jurisdiction in the Yukon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, today's production is 80 to 90% coming out of South Africa and Russia for the platinum group metals, which are so important for so many uses, particularly catalytic converters and other technology. And so deposits geologically, they're outside of those areas. One, they're very rare, and when you have one as large as this, it really stands out as a real potential strategic asset. We've grown this asset considerably, and because it's amenable to open pit, it has that potential that it could become one of the largest first world producers of these key metals.
And as you say, tremendous infrastructure in the Yukon and a political environment that's very amenable to mining and a huge deposit. It seems like a great recipe.
Absolutely. The Bear-Dilbert report this year ranked Canada as the #1 mining jurisdiction globally. And of course, the Yukon is one of the top jurisdictions in Canada for mining. We have excellent infrastructure, including paved highway access right to the project that leads to 2 existing ports that currently ship mining products from 2 of the operating mines on the eastern side of the Yukon. So we're well set up for a project, though it's in the north. This is not a project that is extremely remote in terms of infrastructure, and that's going to really help to keep our cost to build it and operate it down, and because of the open pit mining, we think this is going to have some very attractive economics.
Well, Greg, thanks for your time today. We're looking forward to a very pivotal year for Wellgreen Platinum and the Wellgreen deposit. I think there'll be big news ahead.
We're pretty excited. There's going to be a lot of news flow with the update to our study coming out here shortly, and then moving straight into a high-octane pre-feasibility program. Lots of drilling, lots of studies to come as we really demonstrate the potential of Wellgreen. So it's been a pleasure to be here with you today, Brien.
Great, we'll be watching it closely. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.